And guests to the most fun club, the Rotary Club of Little Rock. Somebody left me this really awesome. I'm going to wear it. Okay. So before we get started today, I'd like to invite Amy Daffler-Moe up to the podium to lead us in the 5-way test pledge and prayer. After that, Jerome Strickland is going to introduce our guest today, and then Membership Recruitment Chair Elizabeth Clarkston will introduce 2 new members today. Of course.
Well, it seems appropriate that the Episcopal priest is offering the prayer on the day that we learn about distilled beverages in our community. Will you please join me in the 5-way test of the things we think, say, or do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Is it fun? And then on behalf of the beginning of the school year, I thought I'd offer a prayer for our teachers and students and families. So will you join me in an attitude of prayer, please? Oh, eternal God, bless all schools, colleges, and universities, and especially those here in the city of Little Rock, Pulaski County, and the state of Arkansas, that they may be lively centers for sound learning, new discovery, and the pursuit of wisdom. And grant that those who teach and those who learn may find you to be the source of all truth. Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, Rotarian and guests. I'd like to introduce you to our visiting guests today and a visiting Rotarian from another club. So first, as I call out your name and the individual who invited you, please stand. And everyone, please hold your applause until the end. Brad Gentry, guest of Jerome Strickland. Marianne McEwen, guest of Bob McEwen. Welcome. Marie Geringer, guest of Dawn Persifka. Amber Jones, guest of Patricia Blick. Charlie Craps, guest of Chris Schnepp. Britton Kinzer, guest of Jesse Wilson. Jordan Wright, guest of Chris Schnepp. Matt Naylor, guest of Courtney Menifee. Lori Trogdon, guest of Brad Burleson. Hyatt McCarley, guest of Aaron Finzer. And we have Laura Grimes, who's a part of the club Rotary After Hours. Welcome. And I'd like to say willkommen to our guest from Germany. Thank you for being here today. So please give a hand for all our guests.
Good afternoon. I'm excited to introduce 2 new members today to Club 99. So if Erin Hohenbaum and Sarah Jones would please come up here with their sponsors. So first, Erin Hohenbaum, I'm pleased to welcome her to Club 99. She is sponsored by President Natalie Godotti. I did not get the message that we were supposed to wear pink today. Erin has a BA in Mass Communications and Public Relations from UA Little Rock. She considers herself an entrepreneur that builds companies that empower women through community, camaraderie, and clothing. Erin is the owner, founder, and CEO of Ely's Contemporary Boutiques and co-founder of The Nest Little Rock with Natalie. In 2011, at the age of 26, Erin left her public relations career to start an online women's accessories business. A decade later, Ely's has grown into a multi-store operation serving thousands of customers annually. Ely was selected as the #1 place to shop in Little Rock by Southern Living magazine. Erin was named to Arkansas Business's top 20 in their 20s and a 2012 Soiree Woman to Watch. She is married to Dr. Jackson Farrow, and they have 2 sons and a rescue pup. For fun, Erin enjoys travel, cooking, indoor cycling, and tennis. Please join me in welcoming Erin to Club 99. We are also welcoming Sarah Jones today. She is sponsored by Greg McCarroll. Sarah has a BA in Organizational Management from John Brown University, an MA in Teaching from UCA, and an Educational Specialist designation from UCA. She was born in Arkansas but raised in Texas. She moved back to Arkansas in 1996. Sarah taught 5th grade at St. Teresa Catholic School and began at Mount St. Mary's Academy as assistant principal 9 years ago. She has served as interim principal, and is now head of school. She has been married to Larry Jones for 21 years, and they have 1 son, Adam, who is a junior at Catholic High. For fun, Sarah enjoys planting flowers, interior decorating, and anything Halloween. Please join me in welcoming Sarah to Club 99.
So before President Gaddafi, okay, well, you can come on up. So, every Tuesday is a special day because we get to come here, right, for Rotary. But today is extra special because we have a birthday today. So I know that you all are going to want to join me in song to President Gaddafi. So here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, President Gaddafi. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Oh my God. Happy birthday. Thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you to Amy and Jerome and Elizabeth, and very excited to have our new members. Erin is a good friend and a partner in a business, The Nest, with me. And then Sarah is my daughter's new head of schools. She started Mount yesterday. So that's exciting. So thank you to you guys. A few quick announcements. So I'd like to really thank all the volunteers that came out at Dunbar last week. Man, you can see it. We had so much fun. We packed those backpacks on Monday and then handed them out on Thursday. Don Cole, amazing, grill master, fired up his grill. We served a ton of families and kids there while they got their backpacks. So thank you so much. A special thanks to Patricia Blick, who pulled it all together for our Dunbar family. So thank you guys. Thanks to all the volunteers who came out. Also, just a quick reminder, Kathleen Lawson, who's over our new member orientation, has a new member orientation set up tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30. This one happens to be at my office. All the other orientations will be at different people's offices or locations. So she's really got some fun things planned for our new members. So if you haven't RSVP'd to this yet, please let Kathleen or Karen know. If you can't make it, no worries. Kathleen's got additional orientations set up. So thank you for that. So I would like to now introduce or ask T. Martin Davis and Cindy Van Veckhoven up here as our co-chairs of the Ottenheimer Scholars Program to come up and just say a few words, because we're so excited. Our German friends are here and already having the time of their lives in Arkansas. So.
Thank you, President Gaddafi. We're very excited to have our 2 Ottenheimer visitors here. It's the 75th anniversary of our program. And we have had visitors from Germany a few times, I think about 4. We originally started, or let me say, Gus Ottenheimer originally started the program back right after World War II, when there was a lot of development either toward communism or to democracy in Europe. And the idea was to invite visitors from that area to our country to learn a little bit about our system of government. And here we are 75 years later, and we have two visitors from Germany. Germany is also the home country of Gus Ottenheimer. And so the committee selected Germany for that reason as well. So our first visitor, I'll start with Florian. Florian is Katero. Did I pronounce that correctly? His home is Eisenstadt with a population of about 14 inhabitants in Bavaria. So Dean Moe mentioned her Episcopalian connection to the spirits. Of course, we know Oktoberfest is coming up in Bavaria. And so make a point of meeting Florian. He'll probably give you some good tips on the liquor there. Florian's father is a credit advisor. His mother is an official. Is she an official in the government? Okay. And what position does she have?
It's like only the region, so it's like a little bit down.
Okay, great. His uncle is a Rotary member. That's how he found out about the program. He's studying business psychology and he's interested in sports and music. And Florian, I heard you say you had some experience already working for Audi. Is that correct? What did you do for Audi?
It's the cycle plan, so the plan for the next 10 years for Audi, which models they will sell.
Very good. So he's already had some practical experience in his learning. He's still in school and he's close to finishing his master's. Next, we have Robert Quack. Robert is from Plön.
Yeah.
Would you come a little bit closer to the microphone? Have I
So
pronounced it?
So it's called Plön in German. Yeah.
Plön.
It's all right. It's all
Thank
right.
you.
With the umlaut, it's
The umlaut tricks me, yes. It's a small village of about 9,000 located in the northern part of Germany. So Florian is from southern Germany. Robert is from northern Germany. And he's about 1 hour north of Hamburg by car and very close to the Baltic Sea. His parents are physicians. His father's a urologist and his mother is a gynecologist. His father is a past president of the local Rotary Club. And Robert has been a Rotary exchange student to Australia in 2017 and 2018. He's in his master's studies in engineering and economics, and his interests are American football, soccer, and Formula One. So Robert, you all went to Heifer International overnight. Tell us a little bit about the cool weather and the farm up there.
yeah. So it was very nice because also we had a little trip around Little Rock before, but to see the countryside and enjoy also some colder weather in outside. It was very nice for me especially, but also for Florian. And we got to learn about Heifer Industries and their project they are doing around the world to help people in poor countries where there's a lot of poverty and to organize all that so that they can end world hunger and help in that department as well.
Very good. So we have lots of activities. First of all, I want to thank my co-chair, Cindy Van Beckhoven. You wouldn't believe how much time it takes to plan a schedule, but we have been so lucky because all of our committee members have stepped up. We've got lots of hosts. If you are a committee member of the Oppenheimer committee, would you please stand? Thank you. And if you are hosting the next 3 weeks, our gentlemen, would you please stand? If you're going to be a host. If you're a committee member, you can also stand too. Finally, this evening at 6 o'clock, we're having a welcome party. We'd invite you to come with us. We'll have some spirits there and Trios is catering. It's located at the Powell House, which is across the street from the Arkansas School for the Blind. The information is in the Rotary newsletter, the address, etc. please come and enjoy some German beer and wine and trios. Thank you.
All right. Well, welcome, guys. I know you're going to have a blast here in Arkansas and at tonight's reception. So thank you, guys. So for those of you visiting or new to Club 99, each year we have a theme. This year it's the power of fun. And so I take just a moment to kind of talk about fun and why it's important to our lives and our happiness and health. So my tip this week. So this week I've been listening to a lot of Brene Brown. And as you know, Brene Brown is all about talking about vulnerability and being vulnerable in life, which leads to really greater purpose, more happiness, better relationships. Well, vulnerability also leads to more fun. One of the key things that Catherine Price, the author of The Power of Fun, that we're kind of studying this year, is being able to let go, experience the freedom of fun. So that often means us letting down our guard and our self-judgment and our inhibitions to be able to experience true fun. So by doing that, Catherine talks about playful deviance. Basically speaking, it's breaking some rules, but just a little. It's not behaving, you're not going to get arrested, but it's behaving in ways that are unexpected or unusual or mildly taboo. So I'll give you a good example of this. Last summer, so I turned 49 today. Last summer, Jason, my husband, turned 50, and we went on this epic chartered boat trip with our besties to the British Virgin Isles. Well, a month before we went, one of our friends had this idea that we were going to exchange names. We're going to pick a name out of a hat, find an outfit, buy an outfit for this person to wear, and then we were going to have to wear it to Willie T's. If you've ever heard of Willie T's, it's a floating boat in the BVI's. It's so much fun. You jump off like this huge second-story deck into the ocean, and we had to wear whatever outfit this person bought for us. I cannot show you pictures. I mean, there are people with businesses, there's doctors, lawyers in this group, cannot show them, but it was so much fun. We exchanged these costumes on the boat. And I mean, y'all, some of these outfits, but this is like a great example of playful deviance. I mean, it was totally unusual. We had to go in front of strangers and wear these outfits. It was totally insane. But I want to tell you, it's the most true fun moment of my life. It's one of them. I've had many, but this is one of them, and I will never, ever forget it. And there were some people in that group that are not extroverted like me. I mean, they are completely introverted, and they said it was the most amazing, fun experience ever. So that's just an example of kind of what we're talking about here. So we're not talking, rebellion that is going to hurt someone or put someone in jail, or in jail. It's harmless rebellion in which you deliberately step outside the bounds of your normal life and do something different just for the fun of it. So here's a bit of a conversation between Oprah and Catherine Price, who's the author of this book, where she kind of breaks down this a little bit. So I just want to play this for you.
Like, oh, it's a little bit like playful deviance. I think of it as breaking the rules of normal adult life, like just a little bit, and then getting a kick out of your own life. And that's a perfect example of it. Just like these total strangers. And now first of all, weirdly, it's a form of vulnerability, I think, the ability to have fun because you're letting down your guard. So by being a little bit vulnerable and sharing how you actually were feeling and who you actually were in that moment, you enabled them to join you in that moment. And then you had this moment of delight and joy and fun in this act of what really shouldn't be rebellion. Why is that rebellion? To enjoy your own life in the moment with people, but it feels that way. So I think if you can play around with the idea of generating more ideas for playful rebellion in your life, and delight can be a way to help you do that, you're going to tap into even more joy and fun. So playful rebellion is definitely something I would think about.
Awesome. So if you look at what's been written about play out there, you will notice an overlap between the deviance that's associated with rebellion and the escape from normal life that's associated with play. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, this sounds irresponsible and indulgent, here's the thing. In the proper doses, this playful deviance is really good for us. In fact, it's really essential because having too many responsibilities makes us very heavy and burdened. Always prioritizing others' needs over ourselves leads to resentment and burnout. So if you haven't picked up the book yet, definitely do so. Her chapter on rebellion is really, really good, like really powerful. And so I'm hopeful a lot of you will work some playful deviance into your lives, maybe this coming week. Just please don't go to jail unless you're Brad Burleson, who has a get out of jail free card in Hot Springs, as you learned in his fun video. So, all right, we are going to showcase another fun video from a member who happens to be moderating today's conversation.
Hello, my name is Courtney Little. I am the owner of Ace Glass here in Little Rock, and I have an office in Northwest Arkansas. Coming out of Leadership Little Rock, we had a group of people that as you talk about life and you talk about enjoying whiskey, it became a common theme for a number of us. So it was a great way to keep a weekly gathering. Rotary gathers weekly, and that's a great rhythm. You see the same people on Tuesday. If you miss one, catch you up next week. If you miss a couple, you start to feel like you miss your people, your family. So we've done Whiskey Wednesday for a number of years. It's gotten hard to get people together 10 years later, but I think we had a good solid 8 years. So Phil Brandon's a friend, and I was a fan of what he was doing with Rocktown early on. And at the same time, we started Epic Glass Recycling, which was originally Ace Glass, and took on the glass recycling in Central Arkansas. I happened to buy a barrel of whiskey with really no plans except to maybe be fun to age one longer than anybody ever had. But through the iterations of becoming a nonprofit and doing that, started to really think, okay, what are you going to do with 200 plus bottles of whiskey? And I had some friends who were even like, hey, not all your friends are expensive bottle of whiskey, give it away kind of friends, and you don't want to be selling it. What are you going to do with that? The plan is in 4 more years, at year 10, I'll have an ultra rare whiskey that I can't sell, don't want to sell. But we're going to do a fundraiser for recycling in the state, and you get 200 plus bottles, give or take, out of a 10-year-old barrel because you lose the angel's cut. So it's going to be really fun in about 4 years to throw the first of annual charity events to raise money for recycling. And we've got some cool people on board to do custom bottles, custom labels, and we're just going to have some fun with it to raise money for recycling awareness in the state, throw a good party, and then do something really rare that nobody else had done.
Love it. Thank you, Courtney. Okay. Well, Courtney, if you'll come up with our guest today and get the conversation started. Thank you.
All right, hello. This wasn't up yet. Oop. All right. So as y'all saw in the video, I am as T. Martin said earlier, I'm an enthusiast of spirits and drinks. So it was my pleasure today to moderate. I don't have much to say. I've got a lot to hand over. We've got 3 great stories in Arkansas. As you know, Arkansas has been slow to adopt and get rid of blue laws and do some other things, and slow to probably join the brewery movement that's gone across the nation. But I feel like we're doing a pretty good job on distilleries, and now we've got a sake brewer here in the state, and that's all 3 make fantastic products. So really looking forward to having these guys share their stories with you today about what they're doing, and hopefully to continue to grow that, the energy behind it, especially since we have a neighbor from across, well, 2 neighbors from out of town. One is in Madison Hot Springs, and Harvey's over in Helena. So encourage us to get outside of Central Arkansas and go have a little fun across the state. So with that said, I'm just going to kind of hand it down the line here, let you introduce yourselves and tell a little bit of your story. We're going to kind of do that and then talk a little bit about kind of how the evolution of distilling and sake are in the state, and then finish up with a little bit of fun at the end. So Phil, you want to start us out?
Sure. Is this working? It is. Hey, I'm Phil Brandon. Excuse me. I'm the founder and head distiller at Rocktown Distillery. I used to work at Alltel Wireless, and when Verizon bought them, I got laid off. And I said, screw corporate America, I'm gonna do my own thing. And I started the first distillery in Arkansas since Prohibition. So today we are located on Main Street. I'm very proud of the fact that I actually own part of Main Street in the city that my family's lived in for 4 generations. We currently sell a lot of vodka, a lot of bourbon, a lot of gin, a lot of everything. But we're in 16 states throughout the country and the United Kingdom and Canada. So yeah, that's a real quick Rocktown Distillery.
All right. I'm Matt Bell, Arkansas native and CEO of Origami Sake. Just started our launch of our product in August. This venture started in 2016, and I met a guy named Ben Bell, not related to me, but I met him at a wedding party, and he had just got back from Japan. He's a native of Sheridan and was the most educated guy in the United States about sake. And he told me he's going to start a sake brewery, and I looked at him like he's crazy. And now I am. So he told me about sake being a beverage that most people are not aware of. But for Arkansas, Arkansas grows 51% of the rice in the US, and Hot Springs, Arkansas has some of the best water in the country. And the combination of that, he told me Arkansas should be the Napa Valley of sake. And I never forgot it. And so I had the opportunity to sell my business last year, had a company called Integrity, solar energy efficiency company. And when I sold it, this is the only business idea I kept coming back to. So I called Ben up. He was in Manhattan at the time. And I said, let's do this. And so now we have the largest domestically owned sake brewery in the US in Hot Springs. And this past month, we won best sake produced in North America. So we're proud of what we're doing.
Yeah, please, Harvey.
Hi, I'm Harvey Williams. And first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's great to get out of the farm and leave the distillery, and also give me an opportunity to invite you to come to Helena. I worked from Arkansas and worked in corporate America and the food industry for 25 years, right? So came back home, always wanted to come back to Arkansas, and had an opportunity to do that, and wanted to do something tied to our farm. So my wife and I, well, my wife let me send some money, so I to start this distillery. So we've grown sweet potatoes on our farm for, before I left home, and even my grandfather. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that story later. But I got this idea that I wanted to start a sweet potato vodka company and build a brand, build a product. And we were able to do that, and took an old building from downtown Helena in this historic district. And so pleased to see Amber here, who helped me with this historic preservation project here in downtown Helena. And we're distributing across the state of Arkansas, and happy to say, we've won some awards. We've been opened up April 1st of 2021 at distillery, and won a couple of awards. One of those is the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. And 6 weeks ago, we were in Las Vegas competing for one of the best vodkas in the world. I think we came in second behind the UK, but still, that's rare company to be in, to have, people drinking sweet potato vodka. Most people in this room have never had sweet potato vodka, because there's less than a handful in the country that's even making any alcohol out of just sweet potatoes. So get a chance, give that a try. And then for Helena, I will put a word in for Helena before I turn back over to Courtney. But our distillery tasting room won the governor's Destination of the Year award for 2023. So we're really proud of the space that we have there, and welcome people to come check us out.
So three great stories. To follow along with that, thought we'd go through just kind of the evolution of how we get from distilling it all to a unique farm to bottle distillery, and then finishing up a little bit with the sake and the story. And there's a lot to it that, as Matt said, not many people know about it, but it's fantastic, and there's a lot of options. So thought we'd start back with Phil and then move to Harvey and just talk. There was quite a process to get this going. I mean, our legislature is not one to roll over and just do new things all the time. What was that process look like to get us where we are, to get started towards where we are today?
Well, you know, the ABC had a permit application that was already there. I mean, I started the distillery just using that, but I couldn't do a whole lot. I couldn't sell it by the bottle to tourists that came in and took our tour. I couldn't make a cocktail, and I had to go through a distributor. So in 2011, I worked with the legislature to get the law changed to allow distilleries to sell what they make by the bottle 7 days a week. So that was the first law I worked to get changed. And then in 2017, I was over on East 6th Street and needed another source of revenue. So I went back to the legislature, and in 2017, we passed a law to allow distilleries to sell what they make by the drink. So we could then operate a cocktail bar. So just think about it. You know, you think, oh yeah, a cocktail bar at a distillery, everybody can sell cocktails. No, you had to change a law. So that means, you know, House, Senate, governor, all the committees in between, all that good stuff, you know. And then just recently in 2021, I worked with the other distillers, and I wrote the language that allows distilleries to now self-distribute if they wish to. So you don't have to go through a distributor to get your products to market. So for a small distillery, that's advantageous. Obviously, I don't do that, and Harvey doesn't do that, but some of the other smaller distilleries in Arkansas do. So I've helped pave the way to where Arkansas has some of the most beneficial laws for distilleries in the entire country. So proud of that.
Thank you for the work. So following that up, Harvey, what does that look like? You know, you got a little history that goes with your family farm and then that conversion. How does that, you know, kind of these new laws, and how does that fit for you, and what does that history look like?
Well, first of all, thank you, Phil, for paving the way. That's a lot of work to get us to where we are, to be able to self-distribute, sell at the bar. My story, with a lot of that work being out of the way, my story is about building a product and building this brand and bringing some pride to the Delta. I mean, there are a lot of great people in the Delta. My great-grandfather being one of them, who, you know, sharecropped our land. And then my grandfather, the story of him really buying the farm out of sharecropping in 1949. It's a big deal. I go to that farm now and sometimes in amazement that you can think back your grandfather, his kids, and his dad and their family. So it just humbles me to know that we're farming that land and creating a product from that farm. That I have two boys that work in the distillery with me now, and those my two sons, 27 and 31. They're young men who will take that farm and keep that legacy going in their own way. I mean, I'm doing something different than my dad, but it's still from our farm. So to be able to do that with distilling and making a spirit that, you know, no one is making, that we can be proud of, that means a lot to me. And I'm really excited to continue that. We'll talk about some fun stuff that we're doing here in a little bit. Yeah.
And along those lines, Matt, your path has been a little bit different because sake fits into a different category. So you gave us just a little glimpse of what that path looked like to get partnership, but there was a little more to getting from an idea to actually having a brewery here in Arkansas.
Yeah. How many people have tried sake, by the way? All right. How many people actually liked it? So, Yeah, sake is a brewed beverage. And a lot of people think it's a distilled beverage. And the reason for that is a lot of the sake that was brought over here in the sixties was started at a sushi restaurant when that craze came over with sushi restaurants. And they sent over what's called fuzushi, which is a low quality sake. It's served warm and it's served in what we would say is a shot glass. It's called an ochoko. And that glass is associated with a shot. So you think it's a distilled shot. That's actually a custom in Japan where you serve others. And so they always put everything in small glasses. So really what we're having to do is change the perception. We're a brewed beverage, but we're sold like wine. And it's one of the only federal licenses where your license as a brewery, but your distribution is a wine product because the ABV is higher. So, we are really going after the wine market. So our sake is, and many of you all might come try it tonight or have already tried it. It's very fruit forward. And what I'd compare it to is the sake you probably had that's warm is like a Boone's Farm to a Napa cab for what we have. So, and it's a game changing deal. And what we're trying to do is change. We built this brewery to be the largest just because Arkansas is a rural state. We have to go throughout the United States and even internationally. We have the resources here, and that's what we're going to do. And so.
Good, thanks. Well, speaking of that, so let's drop back. Harvey, and these are off the cuff. I didn't give these to you early, but you'll know these answers. He just explained how sake is fermented. What is the distillation process versus the fermentation? I mean, what do y'all do in your process?
Well, there's a reason why there's less than a handful of people doing sweet potatoes and making alcohol out of it. I hired an expensive consultant to help us figure this out because the first process is to take those potatoes and convert that starch to sugar. And that's more difficult than you might imagine for sweet potatoes. And my wife, she keeps coming up in this conversation. She found a professor to help us to figure out how to do that and the complexity of those sweet potatoes and extract that sugar. Do that. And then the process, once you have that, then the process is like any other fermentation process. You add the yeast and the yeast goes to work eating that sugar. And then you get that conversion to alcohol. And then you just distill that off. I've got a copper pot still that allows me to do that. But sweet potatoes, it gives us this unique flavor and earth tone that you pick up from our vodka that I think we're going to catch the country by storm with how a vodka smells. Most vodkas are going to smell like alcohol or rubbing alcohol, if you will, and even some of them taste that way. But I think you're going to be able to nose our vodka and say, wow, that I can enjoy this. It has a pleasing aroma and then be able to sip that vodka with some character. So that's what I really enjoy about what we've been able to create with this sweet potato.
Yeah, that's a nice angle. And then Phil, along those lines, tell us a little bit about the grains you use and maybe even the aging process, because I think that's very different in yours that you've got barrels that sit around a little while.
Right. So we've been using corn, wheat, rye, and rice that have been grown in Arkansas since we started in 2010. So we get it from Arkansas farms out of Stuttgart. And in 2018, we started using Arkansas rice. We make a rice bourbon. So we do that every year. But I'm really proud of the fact that we, make an Arkansas bourbon using Arkansas corn and Arkansas soft red winter wheat grown here. We've won multiple international awards for our Arkansas bourbon. And, to make bourbon, you first have to, cook it, ferment it, distill it, and then you have to age it. And it has to be aged in a new charred oak barrel. And there on Main Street, we have a warehouse full of new charred oak barrels. And we started out using a cooperage from Hot Springs. So again, another Arkansas connection, but they don't like to make barrels bigger than 20 gallons. So all of our larger barrels are sourced from Louisville, Kentucky. But Arkansas grown, Arkansas distilled, Arkansas aged to be Arkansas's first ever bourbon whiskey.
Thanks. That's yeah, and fantastic at that. So Matt, start with you. I just want to get an answer from each of y'all. What's a kind of a unique challenge that you've seen in this process getting going? Something, we all in here are involved in one type of business or another and have challenges. What's something that you remember that you've kind of a challenge that you've overcome over the last couple of years?
I don't know if I've overcome it yet, but there's,
Maybe we can help.
there's quite a few challenges. Sake in America has a negative perception, and that's a big challenge that we're trying to overcome. It's just because most people haven't experienced good sake. So as we taste everybody and you get the opportunity to try it, it's really life changing for a lot of folks that have had bad sake their whole life. The second part is that, sake's been around for 1,500 years, and that there's not many breweries outside of Japan. So they're hard. There's not much information, right? So conveyance of information on how to brew sake. It's one of the unique beverages that has multiple parallel fermentation. So we're fermenting rice with koji mold. So the only way you can convert starches into sugars is to mold the rice. 20% of our rice gets molded with a spore called koji cane. That process is separate from the fermentation where you add yeast, and you're watching both those tracks. A lot of things can go wrong in that process, unlike beer brewing where you throw everything in there and just let it go. In 30 days, you have beer. We've had several batches go bad. So learning the process, and luckily we have the best team outside of Japan here in Arkansas. I've got a guy named Justin Potts. He started Sake On Air podcast, lived in Chiba, Japan for 20 years. And he's a certified sake show, which is a master of sake. There's 400 of those in the world, and 2 are non-American or non-Japanese. And he moved to Hot Springs to guide us through this process. That's why we're making good sake immediately. So
Thanks. Harvey or Phil, either one of you?
No, I've told you my challenge, and it's still, we don't give away that process, but again, breaking that starch down to sugar is the challenge. But outside of that, bottling, we are in the process this week of installing a bottling line. So we've got, we've been hand bottling all this time, and that bottling line is going in now. And hopefully my sons have gotten that worked out by the time I get back. I don't know. Yeah, we are growing, so that's a great thing.
Bill?
Challenges? There's so many. It's hard to say. Anytime you start a business, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And I feel like I've had to do that several times. But everything from falling on my face when we first launched, to digging up out of that hole, to changing distributors, to launching in other states, all these other challenges, dealing with issues with you name it, employee issues, to going through a pandemic, to coming out the other side smelling like roses. So there's always challenges, but the one thing you have to do is realize that it's not how many times you fall down, it's who's standing at the end, right?
Yeah, it was what y'all did in the during the pandemic with hand sanitizer and seeing people jump in. I think everybody kind of did their part, but that was pretty cool to see y'all convert. So thank you for that. All right, I'd like to move to fun, and then we've got a little bit of time for questions today, probably ahead of schedule, which is good because I think we've got some partakers that might have some questions for you. Harvey, let's talk about fun. This is spirits and sake are known to go along with fun sometimes. What are some events or things coming up that you'd like to share with us where we could join you and have a little fun ourselves?
Well, you can start by coming down to the distillery. We have a beautiful tasting room. This past weekend we had live music, and it's always fun to get a fabulous cocktail and enjoy some music. King Biscuit Blues Festival that's been going on since 1986 is happening October, first week of October. You're welcome to come to Helena. They shut the streets down. You guys have that all the time, but it's a great thing to have some of the best blues music playing in the world right here in Helena. We even have people from Germany there. Yeah, yeah. But we try to attend festivals and getting ourselves out to do tastings and pourings in different places, just to expose Arkansans to Delta Dirt and the sweet potato vodka. And I guess the next fun thing we're going to do is we are finally going to release a bourbon next year. Fingers crossed. We've got barrels put up. And we have our 3-year anniversary coming up April 1st. So we believe we're going to plan a bourbon launch around our anniversary time. So we're pretty excited about it.
Thank you. King Biscuit sounds like an opportunity for a little deviance. Matt, how about you? You got a lot of rollout events going on right now. Where are places that we can come learn about good sake and have a little fun with y'all?
Yeah, I'd encourage everybody to follow us on social media. We have tasting events pretty much twice a week now at different restaurants and different liquor stores. We're also, our brewery tours are open to the public now, so you can sign up for a brewery tour. Brewery is really beautiful. It's neat to learn the process. It's very different from a lot of different breweries or distilleries you've seen. One thing that, I mentioned earlier, we got back from Sake Fest in Virginia last month. And hopefully we're petitioning to move that national event, the North American event, to Hot Springs next year. So hopefully we will know something in about a month. And if that's the case, we're going to have that event hosted in Hot Springs, and it should be people from all over the country coming to Arkansas. So
Love to have them. Bill?
Well, we've got a lot of events coming up as well, but September is a National Bourbon Heritage Month. So we'll be celebrating all things bourbon for the entire month of September. So again, go to our social media. You can learn about all the events coming up. It also happens to be Rice Month. So September, we'll be celebrating our Arkansas Rice Bourbon with specials and deals on our Arkansas Rice Bourbon and Rice Bourbon Old Fashions. We do have at the end of October, our 13th anniversary coming up. So we'll be celebrating 13 years of the special anniversary release of one type of whiskey or another. I can't release the details just yet. We'll be doing lots of events associated with that, some Razorback stuff, some football stuff. So just tune in. And if you'd like to come take a tour, we also do tours of our distillery 3 times a day, 6 days a week. You just go to our website, register. We are one of the top 10 things to do in Little Rock on TripAdvisor. So the only thing beating us is Pinnacle Mountain and a high school. So yeah, just come to the distillery. I think you might have a little bit more of that controlled fun we're all interested in.
So we get a head start on September, and we get part 2 of Natalie's birthday celebration this evening at Rocktown. You get your first taste, hopefully, of some new products. We'll open up to the floor. I got a couple more questions parked, but we'll open up to the floor for anybody else. Kelly.
We work really hard. The fun thing about making bourbon is you have to plan, 4, 8, 10 years down the road. So we're trying to increase our capacity and work as hard as we possibly can to meet that demand. Our largest market outside of Arkansas is the Maryland, Delaware, and DC market, believe it or not. So we ship a truckload of Arkansas spirits up to the Northeast every month. So we're really proud of that. But yeah, we just work and plan, and I can't divulge all my secrets, Kelly. So thanks for asking.
So Congressman, can we thank you for the demand up there that you've shared with your fellow legislators?
I'm having fun here. I want to say these are three great entrepreneurs to make Arkansas proud. Really, really make. Just a comment. I had a question with the refrigerator. It had Sake to meet with and Ambassador Ron, and who has plenty of things to say about this bill. Well, good friend is our ambassador Tokyo as well. And I want to tell you that I got the best reaction that possibly get once they tasted Matt's creation that we're going to do. Oh.
Thank you. I would love to hear that distribution question. Matt, you've
Yeah.
got a similar situation. And then Harvey, you're also bringing up new distribution. So you kind of got these things are growing on you too.
Yeah, so we're just in Arkansas and we were really not sure how well it would take off. And we sold out in 2 weeks, everything we could produce. And so now we're trying to hire more folks. We have distributors calling us from other states. So, and the way we're looking at sake is a little different than most Japanese imports are looking at sake. They're typically going into channels of Asian cuisine, so sushi restaurants and Asian restaurants. We're looking at this as the 90% of other restaurants. So you'll see us at 42, Chowbachi, Petite and Keat, just really unusual places. And that's what is different about our approach to the market. So if you look at wine, it's a $80 billion a year industry. Sake is 80 million. So in the United States, and if we could get 1% of wine, that's a 10-fold increase. And that's what we're looking to do, is to get 1 out of 100 wine drinkers. And after you taste our sake, you would kind of understand why that's a really realistic target. So. Thanks.
Yeah, so we're increasing capacity around our bottling space, distributing across the state of Arkansas. I can still remember the time we got our first menu placement. It was somewhere in Northwest Arkansas. And you just got to know, it's just 4 of us in the family. We're so excited, right? You go to a restaurant and you see our product on that menu. Someone sent us a message. But we're in plenty of restaurants in Little Rock now, in Northwest Arkansas. We saw one in the Jonesboro area recently. But we're distributing in 4 states. And then 15 days ago, our son got us an online presence, which is like a big deal. These young people, they go out there and they're aggressive. That opened us up to 35 states, actually. Now, we haven't done any marketing in those 35 states yet, but to say that we get the messages and to allow them an opportunity to go online and buy the product, we're pretty excited about that. So more potatoes that we got to grow.
More potatoes, good.
Sake is one of the most versatile beverages when you get into the ABV of about 12 to 15%. It pairs really with everything. It's amazing. When you get into wines, you get very specific with a cab for, a steak, and you get a Riesling for a dessert wine. Sake is very versatile, and that's one of the advantages of it. The other advantage of it for by the glass service is that when you open a bottle of sake, it keeps for about 2 weeks. And wine goes through a Maillard reaction where the oxygen gets to it and ruins it. So we're seeing a lot of reception on by the glass service. So, if you go to our website, there's a where to buy function where you can find any of the store locations. I'd encourage you to try it, serve it chilled, serve it in a wine glass, and see what you think. But it's very versatile beverage.
That's great. That would have been my next question. Phil, you talked about states. Where can you find locally? Everywhere, particular places? Your
Just
place,
about any liquor store you'd actually want to go in.
your place on
Yeah.
Sundays?
You can buy it at our place on Sundays. We have a cocktail bar, one of the top rated cocktail bars in the city, open till 10 p.m. during the week and midnight on Friday and Saturdays. But we're in tons of bars and restaurants throughout the city and throughout the state. And we are available online for your friends out of state in 42 states. So you can order Rocktown and have it shipped to your friend in Texas or what have you. Cannot ship it to Arkansas. So another one of the laws we have to work on to change one day, but Arkansas does not allow spirits to be shipped. So we do it through a 3-tier compliant way where we sell it to a distributor that then sells it to a retailer, and that retailer in DC of all places ships it to the other states. DC's no man's land for liquor. So
Maybe every man's land for liquor.
yeah, or every man's land. I'm not sure. Yeah, all the above. But so we do it in a legal 3-tier way, but there's only certain states that will allow that, so that it goes to those.
And Matt and Harvey, I know I've seen a list on your social media of places it's available. Can you name a couple around here that you've seen it or that you know of? I know you had a long list the other day.
Yeah, so things local, Sterling, 42 is going to carry it soon. Kamuri, Chowbachi, the Fountain of all places. So, I mean, dive bar. So, but yeah, really a lot of different restaurants, Pantry Crest. And then, of course, all the Japanese, Asian cuisine restaurants here.
And Harvey, can we find yours local?
Yeah, you can find it most every liquor store in the state of Arkansas. And if they don't have it, ask them to get it. They'll get it. Colonial here. Costco is one of the places that's in town, and Sam's up in Northwest Arkansas. So yeah, we're all over now and hoping to continue to spread the Delta Dirt love across the state of Arkansas.
All right. Any other questions? One more.
Y'all want to try out, they're going to be distributing at Harvest Fest this year along with other local beer and wine. So just super excited to have it. Will your can distribution help with getting that out of state, making it easier to produce and sell other places, or what is that strategy like?
So we do have a canning line. We have a bottling line right now. With the demand we have, we're not even starting up the canning line yet. We will once we get our production up. But we're waiting on one piece of equipment. It's about a month and a half out. And then we'll start canning. Price per ounce is about the same. So it's really what we're trying to do first is get the association of sake as a wine. And when you put things in a can, it kind of lowers the value because it's going to be an expensive can because it's 13-14% alcohol. So the association of wine is the bottle first, and then we're gonna actually also offer it in kegs. So yeah.
Thanks again. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll hand it back over to the Madam President.
Thank you, guys. Harvey, Matt, y'all stay there for a second. Harvey, Matt, Phil, thank y'all so much. Courtney, this is awesome. Sake. That's how you pronounce. See, I've learned so much, but that one I caught. Like, that's great. That's great. Okay. I'm already a huge fan of Rocktown's vodka. Cannot wait to try the sake. And I love sweet potatoes. So this is going to be a good tasting tonight, guys. If you want some fun and you want to celebrate 49 years with Gadati here, come on over to Rocktown starting at 5. And then if you can party hop, if you're a party hopper, head on over to T. Martin's for the reception for our German friends. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Little gift that I have for each of you guys. So coming up in the River Market soon, actually she's going to be starting very soon now that her kiddos are in school. We're going to have a new mural over there in the River Market that's really kind of shines a light on our Power of Fun theme and really all the fun that you can have in our natural state. It's going to be interactive, all the things. So this is a little desk thing, doodle pad that features our new art that we're sponsoring downtown. So thank you guys again for being here. here. I hope to see many of you guys tonight. And then also next week, another not to be missed program. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence in the schools. So it's going to be a great conversation. Rajesh is going to moderate it for us, and Steve Stracely, who's a new Club 99er, is going to be speaking. He's the head of school at Catholic High, and then Nancy Rousseau, principal at Central High, will also be speaking. And they have some wild stories of AI being used in high schools. So it'll be a good one. Thank you guys. We are adjourned.